Hello everyone, let's continue our course by creating Windows Failover Cluster in this session. This is a starting point to create SQL Server Availability Group. Okay, you can see here I have domain controller and SQL VM1 and SQL VM2. They are in the same subnet. Okay, so first of all, this SQL VM1 and SQL VM2 is not part of domain. So therefore, I go to Server Manager and add this node to our domain. Okay, created, change, and domain. I will insert our domain name, mydom.com. Okay, so click OK. Then we should add here the username. Okay, administrator. Click OK. So you can see that I have been added to the domain. Okay, this username which we inserted should be domain admin. Okay, click OK. Now we should restart. You can see click OK and close. Okay, restart now. Okay, this one has been finished. Let's go to SQL VM2. We repeat the same process. So we are finished with SQL VM2 also. Now login to SQL VM1 with domain administrator. Okay, so click OK. You can see here administrator, right? This is local administrator. Let's make it domain administrator. For this we will go to other user and my DOM. Okay, sorry. My DOM administrator. Okay, then we will insert password. Now our machine is part of the domain and we logged in with domain admin. Okay, you can use also other domain member, of course, but that domain member should have access to create Windows Failover Cluster. Okay, so we are here. Now we will go to SQL VM2 and it repeats the same process. Now SQL VM1 and SQL VM2 is part of domain and we logged in as domain member. Okay, domain account. So now the next process should be to install Windows Failover feature. For this, we will go to Server Manager. Okay. Sorry. And click on Tools. This one. Add roles and features. Click on Next. Next. Okay. We will select our machine here. Our machine here, this machine, SQL VM1 is this one. Okay. We will click on Next. And here, there is not, and let's here. Okay, here you can see failover clustering feature. Okay, click next and click restart the destination server automatically if required. Yes, and install. Here we go, and we repeat the same process for SQL VM2. Progress is ongoing. Okay, you can see installation succeeded, right? Now we can close. Okay, this one is ongoing. Now after installation, you can see if you go here, we will be able to see Failover Cluster Manager. We will click on it. Okay, now you will have this Failover Cluster Manager. Okay, so what about this one? So this is also succeeded, and from SQL VM2 also we can see Failover Cluster Manager, right? Okay. Now our machine is ready to add to failover clustering. Before adding, you might ask, what kind of ports are necessary to create failover clustering, right? Because sometimes in some companies, there are port requirements because ports are automatically closed, right? And you should open the ports for your SQL VMs to enable failover cluster. So what kind of ports are necessary? For this, we will go to Microsoft documentation. Okay, let's click on it. Okay, what ports requirements for... No, there is a requirement for Windows. Let's do this and go down. Okay, go down. We will just do failover. Okay, here you can see here cluster service and what kind of ports are necessary to create cluster service in Windows. You can see UDP, this one, TCP, this one, right? ICMP, TCP, this port, right? All of these ports are necessary to create failover cluster. Therefore, you should open these ports in your machine and in your network, okay? Otherwise, the cluster creation fails, okay? So, I have opened all these ports in my machine. I did not have restrictions, so therefore, I can create Windows Failover clustering. Let's go back. So, I will just right-click and create cluster. And click Next. Now, it is asking server names in the cluster, okay? We will click on Browse. And it is in mydom.com, okay? Locations, mydom.com, right? So we will click on Advanced and Find Now. And you can see all the machines in my domain, okay? I will choose my machines, which I will add. This one first, okay? Then again, Advanced, Find Now, and this one. Okay, click OK. Now it has been added, right? Now click Next. Yes, I know. No, we don't need now. Click Next. Now we should add cluster name here. Okay, what is cluster name? Cluster, something like cluster AG. Let's make it like this. And then input the address, right? In this range. So let's input any available IP address, which is 19, let's say, and click Next. Okay, now click Next, and now you can see the creation started. Okay, and you should wait a little until this one finishes. Okay, you can see the cluster creation finished, right? Click Finish. Now we have our own cluster, clusterag.mydom.com, right? Within our domain. If we expand this one, we can see the roles where we did not create it yet, okay? And the nodes. Nodes you can see I have two nodes, right? SQL VM1 and SQL VM2. Right? Storage, I did not add it yet. And the networks, these two nodes are located in the same network. Okay? Network configuration you can see. Okay? And if you face any kind of problem with cluster, you can see cluster events here. This is the logs for the cluster. And you can see the same thing if you go to second machine and refresh, right? Refresh. Let's do like this. Connect to cluster. And click OK. Okay, now you can see we can see also the same cluster from SQL VM2 also. Okay, so they are connected, and SQL VM1 and SQL VM2 are part of the cluster. In the next step, we will create AG role, okay? But before doing that, I want to introduce also some of these validation reports in the next session.